Hello. Let me know if you hear me, and I'll just switch over the scene here to where I am in After Effects. Today we are... Sorry, I'm just getting back from a cold, so my voice might be a little bit rough. I'm sorry if that's the case. We are right now. I'm sitting in editing the latest episode of Hubware Galactic. So you see here, Oliver is in the newsroom. What I usually do is I edit the entire segment with Oliver in the studio, and after that is finished, I export it and turn it over to Premiere, where I split it apart and I put in the edited reports, like from the reporters who are out in the field or doing some story or whatever. So in the beginning here, I do a little bit of cheating. I have some camera angles already done. Camera angles are sitting here as the pink parts. So we have one camera angle here. When Oliver is presenting the main story for tonight, we have a short camera angle here that goes over to just filming the... this is taking some resources actually, because I have the whole preview window in full resolution, so I'll take that down to quarter. And the resolution is worse, but it's easier to edit this way. Another thing that is also making it a lot easier is, if you saw here, I have some layers here. I have the studio room right here, and then in the background I have a little bit of like a newsroom and a window, and that's a separate part of Element 3D. Element 3D being the plugin I use in After Effects to do these like 3D environments. So I have two different Element 3D projects going on, so I'll just turn the background one off and it should go away like that. Now we're only working with this newsroom. And another thing we can do with Element 3D is also, instead of showing the full render, we can put it to normals and only render like contours and really like basic rendering. So going into this mode, removing the background and only editing contours, I can still see, you see the preview here, the green little bar is generating some additional frames around our marker here right away. And what I can do with this mode is I can more easily, I have Oliver still in the same, I have his voice and he's like how he's going to be moving. So I can move around the different objects in the studio with great ease, instead of waiting like 5 or 6 seconds for each frame to cook before I can see what the frame is. So this way, can even move outside the generated space here and see that when Oliver goes into, you see the screens are moving and he says our main story tonight, and the screen is coming in and you're filming the main screen, and after that it's back to Oliver and he's talking about the first story. I think it's here somewhere that the story breaks. Let's check. Beyond any military craft. Right, and here's a little cut. That's where I'll insert the story afterwards. And then he goes on to talking about the next story. The screen comes up, turns over, and here it is for another camera angle. So these camera angles, they are filmed as they look with Oliver. They're filmed in a hangar in New Babbage. The camera angle visible right now should be Sark 2. You can see we masked out. If I remove that mask, you can see he's actually. Oh, that was not removing it. There we go. Nope. Anyways, he's actually projected over the 3D environments here. So I have to like lay a little mask for the table here so it looks like he's behind it. But if I want to move him around and not the mask, I want to keep the table mask. I go into the composition where Zark is, and I can move him around if I want, and like this maybe, and he should only be poking up his little head. Let's put him back. I had no idea you could do this in After Effects. No, by default you can't. What I use is a plugin called Element 3D. So I'll just turn off the cache frames when idle here, because when I open Element 3D and cache frames with idle is on, it usually crashes After Effects. I can't see the correlation as to why, but that's just the case. So I'll turn that off, and then I can enter the Element 3D environment that I have. Element 3D by itself is only it's a plugin. It's an effect basically that I put on a solid black layer. But opening it up, scene setup, I can go into. Let me know if you see this actually, because this is. I can check my own window here as well. Because I don't know if I'm capturing the. I should be capturing. Yeah, I should be capturing that as well. Alright, so here we are in Element 3D, and so this is the environment. And oh, hi Ecobit, thanks. Wow, this is moving around rather slow actually. I don't really know why. Anyways, here we have the different pieces. As I said, the background is on another group. This is group layer 1. I made it into group layer 2, and then I separated them into 2 different Element 3D projects. So initially this was one project with 2 group layers, but it was easier to, since I wanted them on different heights in the layer structure, it was easier to remove group layer 1 from the background and remove group layer 2 from the foreground, and I could separate them with, like, for example, an adjustment layer where I could make a little blur effect on the background and stuff like that. So the pieces here, for example, the rotator, this one. Let's see if it's possible to rotate. I don't know if it is. The rotator, anyways, is put on an auxiliary channel, is what they call it. It's when you take a 3D object and you put it on a channel outside of Element 3D. So for the rotator 3 here, which is, can't remember, I think it's the spinning disc with the screen on. Let's check what its contents are. The logo, right? So rotator 3 is the back LCD. That's the screen that is on rotator 3. So rotator 3 as a whole, the whole structure of rotator 3 is put on an auxiliary channel 2. So when I go outside of sorry about my voice. When I go outside of Element 3D and I find my Element 3D thing here, I have on group 1, as it was group 1, auxiliary channels, and I have channel, Which one did we put it on? Did I say channel 3? Yes. Here's the channel 3 position, and actually I think it's rotation. And so the rotation here on channel 3, I've put them all, the channel, the rotation for rotator 3, rotator 2, and the arm for the TV and everything. I put them all into sliders that I put on a null object. So here you see one object called sliders. It's full of keyframes because every slider here, they've been giving the same name: rotator 2, rotator 3, TV height, TV rotate, arm, and extend. Every slider is tied into one of those auxiliary channels in Element 3D. So if I, for example, move rotator 3 here, let's see, there are no, I'll just remove the keyframe later. You can see the whole screen is rotating and it's turning around, and with keyframes down here, like basic keyframes, the same you use in Premiere or other After Effects projects, you can just use those to turn your whole environment around. So with the extender for the TV arm here, for example, up there, you can just, I can use that to slide it out. I can yaw the TV, because I don't want to yaw it too much because it clips. But I can yaw the screen, because there's a little point here with a rotation variable that I've tied to this particular slider. And I can also rotate down here. That's the whole TV rotating. So I can rotate it like that and send it off. Goodbye, TV. Whee! Let's just remove all those keyframes that are there. Right, so here at the end, I want the TV to be removed because Oliver is saying goodbye. So as that's all we had as usual. That's all we had today. The TV and the screen is rather slow now, but 1 frame per, or actually 2 or 3 frames per second is good. As he's saying his goodbyes, the screens are removed and they're gone. And you will be able to, at the end, see the studio room behind him instead. Your scenes are so impressive, but it isn't until you see the editor exactly know how incredibly amazing it is. Outstanding hard work. Thanks, Echo. That's super kind. So what I've done here is I've tried to add a little blue hue to the... I actually don't know if this is the best way to change a light color, but I want Oliver to be a little bit blue here because the screen is coming over from the other colors to his basic blue ones. If I can change, that's the logo color for Hardware Galactic, or the usual color he uses. So the screen here should be blue, and so I was thinking the light on him should be blue as well. All right, so what I'm doing now is I want to go into these particular screens, Hardware Galactic background screen here, and the front screen as well. And I want to change the contents of the screens depending on what he is talking about. So I want to enter the particular compositions down here that I called floor LED texture. That's the floor panels down here. They have, underneath them, they have a little color solid, a 3D flipped color solid, so it's on the ground. Oops, sorry. Meaning I can change the color of the plates or have some color going out from the center or in, or if there's a huge breaking news story, I can turn them red or whatever. But the back LCD and the desk LCD is this one, by the way. I don't use it much, mainly because it's not super important to change it. And cutting down on editing means a few days less in editing, so that's good. The screen is this one, and then we have office screens and office big screens. That's the ones back there. And I think if you look closely, you can probably recognize some of those screens. These are the screens from the big screens from, where is it? It's TDD, or I think in Hurston you can find those screens as well, like well below the district, the central business district. They have like this little atrium where the Hurston guy is sitting, and underneath there you can find these screens as well, and they looked very like newsy, so I brought them in and placed them there. You also see, if you, I don't know if it's visible, there's a new Babbage outside the window, and I'll see if I can actually enter that scene as well and show that. Maybe that's interesting. Just gonna check that the cache frames is disabled, and then we can enter the background. Yeah, Lorville CBD, exactly. Right, here we are. You can see some screens here. I've placed workers here. They are very basic. If you go close, you see they're just let's see here. It's always, there we go. They're just flat silhouettes, basically. So here they are watching screens of like old. Here's a report from the first Hubware Galactic I did with a report on Addison. Here's also Imperator Addison over here. There's some past reports from Stanton Today, the first news show that I did. And we have the screens up here. And also outside here is a new Babbage. So I made it rather large and placed it way outside of the studio. Just so if I move the camera angles in here, it shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be like visible that there's a background. The camera won't be down this far, and it wouldn't be up this far either. So the camera would mostly sit back here. So looking around with the camera, it looks like new Babbage is out there, because the distance to the new Babbage screen here is super big. There it is, and there's the small office. Right. So now we want to go into the particular screens. Every composition down here, like back LCD, screen, they are given as textures to Element 3D. So on Element 3D, on the scene setup here, I've gone into, let's see, custom layers, custom texture maps, and I've added these compositions down here, like desk LCD, floor LED, back LCD. They've all been added to thanks, Echo, you're giving me so much. I'm so happy. Thank you. They are all given as textures to these different 3D parts. So as I edit them, I don't even have to go into Element 3D, because Element 3D is reading off of this composition. So I edit the composition, and it's going to change the content on the screens. Let's see here. So what I need to do now, I want to bring in the edited video of Zark here to all of these. Like if we start with the back LCD, for example. That's the old one. Let's remove that. I want to add Oliver to this because I want to know like where he is on his report. I think this is episode, yeah, that's the one I started in June, so I'll bring that down. I only need the audio actually. So if I play it here, should be sitting at the exact same place as it does in the Sark edited videos here. And they, the Sark 1, Sark 2, and Sark 3 from up here, they start right at the beginning. So while editing the back LCD, the clip has to start at the exact same place. So it has to start exactly in the beginning as well. Because using the audio from here...
And here's our leading story tonight. Invictus launch week has ended and we're here to give you the rundown.
I know what should be. Using the audio, I know what should be on the screen here. And I can also go from... This marker is moving to where I want it to be. If I, for example, go to exactly where this camera angle is starting, the camera angle for like showing the report, and I enter into back LCD, I'm exactly at the same place. It places the marker at the exact same place. So right here, I need to change to the corresponding story that it's reading from. And this is weird actually, because the marker is like 1 minute in. Why is it that the marker is 1 minute in? It should only be around 14 seconds in. Let's see. Okay, I moved it backwards. So why did I do that? Then I need to place the marker here in the project at the exact same place where Sark's audio is starting. Then I need to enter into back LCD and move his video here. Because I don't want to fiddle around too much. For some reason, I placed it like this, and it's probably for a reason that I don't remember, but that I should conform to for some reason. Right, so the video is starting here at the 1 minute mark, I think. Yeah, 1 minute mark. Right, so let's do it all again. Back to the camera angle here. Up until this point, with all of this time, Zark is talking about nothing much really. It should only be, the background should only be Hubware Galactic, and the screen should only be Hubware Galactic as well. So up until this point, nothing should be happening. So I will remove... What's this pre-comp? Oh, it's for an old project. Alright, so I will start it over here. And I will remove the old... the blue solid, and the Microsec logo won't be needed. And what's this? Sark starting there. The back LCD is here. Right, so let's listen.
You're watching Hubware Galactic, I'm Oliver Zark, and here's our leading story tonight. Invictus launch week has ended and we're...
And the camera angle shift is there. Alright, starting too early. Let's move it back a little more. There we go.
Invictus launch week has ended and we're here to give you the rundown on the event. But before we dive...
So, we will put some footage of Invictus launch week in here.
Invictus launch week has ended and we're...
Yeah. Right, and that's right at the beginning. What footage is this, though? It's so weird. There's some footage here that I can't see for some reason. Anyways, let's remove that. Let's find some Invictus launch week footage that we can use. I think I grabbed some from the actual event. I'll just make a folder here. Name it... Oh, we actually have a folder for this episode already. It's up here. I'll make a new folder in here. New folder, B-roll. Place B-roll in the episode, correct episode place. And then I just need to find the footage. I usually keep it still in the OBS capture folder until I use it, and when I use it I place it in the correct folder. Alright, so let's see here. Maybe I moved it already to the episode folder, so I'll check there. Invictus, here we are. Alright, let's see if we can find a good video for displaying Invictus. This one has some crowd on it, I think that's good. There was some NPCs. Oh, this one is jittery actually, skip that. There's a bunch of NPCs like converging on these Pisces for some reason. No. I need to remember that this screen in the background is really it's very wide. It's not in a 16:9 format. The aspect ratio is probably ultra wide or even wider still. So I need a footage that is able to capture just... Sorry, I'll try and move that mic away. See if I can capture like a very wide and vertically narrow piece of footage. Well, this looks good. Could use this bit right here. It's zooming in slowly. It's 20 seconds, which is actually longer than the camera angle. Camera angle is only, let's see here. Camera angle is from 11 seconds to 15, so that's 4.5. See here. Oh, that's too. This is too vertical. Only this bit would be captured, like the middle of it. And this is doing nothing else than spinning around. Cool. That didn't look too good. Right, let's try the Hercules view. Import. Go back into the back pre-comp and add the Hercules footage to B-roll. And then into the projects. Now I want to make it as wide as the screen. There we go, maybe. Let's see what that looks like on the screen. Let's give it a second to update. Oh. There's nothing there. Why? So we're this composition showing Hercules from the beginning. It starts here. Maybe there's some old opacity keyframes still here that I need to remove. Set the opacity to 100, and there it is. Right. Could actually be a pretty smooth transition to go from 0 to 100 like this.
Leading story tonight. Invictus launch week has ended and we're here to give you the rundown.
Let's see what it looks like. There it is. And what's nice about Element 3D is that the reflections from everything, including the textures in the background, they are projected on the floor here. So even though the content is changed, the reflections are also changed, even though the content is not changed. Like, I haven't gone into Element 3D to do anything particular. The texture is remembered by the plugin and rendered correctly. So for example, if I go back into back LCD here. I turn the Hercules things off. The reflections go back to being blue on the forehead. The only thing that doesn't go back to being blue or doesn't actually reflect anything at all is Oliver, because he's not from the 3D environment. So I need to, like, if I want to change the light sources on him, I need to change it manually. The light here is from the new Babbage hangar, basically. So that's what I did here in the end. I changed the light. I think it's really hard because I don't really know how to do it properly, but I tried to like key out the light bits and change them into a blue hue that comes from the screen here. But I'm not sure if this is the best way. I'm not even sure if it looks good enough to keep, but anyways, it's this is like a little experiment. I haven't tried to do that before, affecting the light on him as well. But let's go back into the back LCD thing, turn the Hercules ships back on, do some, need to properly colorize this video as well. And what I use for that is Lumetri color. I use the same coloring effect while working in Premiere as well, because Lumetri color is it's not in Photoshop or Illustrator, but other than that it goes over from, like, it's an Adobe umbrella effect that goes over like Premiere and After Effects, and it remembers Lumetri. If you're in Premiere and you want to send a clip over to After Effects, it remembers the Lumetri color and it has the same effects applied to the clip when it comes into After Effects as well. So the effect is interchangeable and transferable in between Premiere and After Effects. So let's see here. In After Effects I can see a coloration scope. I don't know how to do that here. I'm actually gonna see if I can... Scopes? No. There is some way I can do that. Lumetri scopes here. Great. Oh, I didn't know that was... I didn't know I had that here. Alright. So you can see the coloration here. You can see most of the colors, almost all of them, they end down here. So we're not using all of the bits, basically, that you can use while editing color. What I want to do is bring the blacks in the video here, I want to bring them down to be as near as the 0 mark as I can. That way we add some depth to the color here, but we don't want to make it flat. I'll show you what I mean by pulling it down a lot. You can see black things they are flattened out here in the bottom, and what is dark is now black. Every dark bit is just as black as any other dark bit. There's no difference. But if I look for down here, if I look for where the bottom is without hitting it too much, like there, we brought the blacks down a little bit. And maybe it's not too visible, but if I turn it on and off, you can see the darkness. I don't know if YouTube actually might maybe compress this so it doesn't look too different, but you can see we added some darkness to pieces that should have darkness. I do the same thing with lights, so let's bring the white up, and we don't want too much to hit white because then every like light part becomes white, same as when working with darkness. So we're checking up here if we are producing a little bar or if it looks good. And I'd say a small little bar is fine, but no higher than that. Another thing we can see is that most of the colors are existing in the dark parts here. So in the dark parts of the video, meaning that most of this is going to appear dark in contrast to a lot of other things. When we look at the main screen, for example, you can see that this screen does not appear to be luminescent. Anyways, an LCD screen should be brighter than this, and that is mostly here because the colors are existing in a very dark color space. So to bring that up, I just simply use exposure. And that could be... Sometimes it's not the best ways, so I'll bring up the shadows. I'll start with that. So only the dark bits are being brought up. And let's increase the highlights as well. Let's bring the exposure down a little bit so as to not produce a super mega bar up here. Blacks can go down a little bit further. And let's see, shadows up. We want it to be existing in the middle here as much as we can. Exposure up. That means we need to bring the whites down. And blacks up a little bit. Now with the colors sitting in the middle, we can use contrast and spread them out. We're getting a little bit of a bar up here, so bring down the whites even further. We'll push up shadows and blacks. Right, it's starting to appear like light bits are light and dark bits are dark, and everything in between has coloration as it should. In contrast to what we had to begin with, it was very dark. But now it's maybe too bright now, actually. Let's see if we can change that. There we go, I think. Yeah, no, it's just more depth in the video. And it looks like light parts are actually light as well. The background should change here to something that looks a little bit more like a screen. Alright, let's see what this looks like. I'm not super happy with how this screen is looking right now, but maybe I will change it later. The main focus for me today is to get all of the videos in the right order, so the news report looks as it should, and everything is in the correct order, and every video is where it should be. And after that, I'll check the coloration, and then I export it over to Premiere, and I make the cuts and add in the reports. All right, let's see. I have some comments here. Hey bro, love the videos, by the way. How did you get your avatar to be standing on the podium? Is that just a desk in the game? Some overlays, or are you using engine to make it? In Machinimas. I'll show you. Let's just save this before risking opening Premiere next to After Effects. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes it gets overwhelmed, my computer. We'll see here. So far, so good. What I do is I edit Zark, the news reporter, in Premiere first. So this is the video of him, actually. Where he is standing on the balcony of like a new Babbage hangar, where you land your ship and you go into the elevator. You can climb up over the balcony where it says Aero View Hangar, I think. And I place him there because that place has a uniformly blue background, which makes it easy to key him out. If I remove the masks here, you can see him here standing on the AeroView hangar roof or overpass. I don't know what to call it. I would very much like it if CIG were adding like a little new studio, or even, especially for the Galaxy, the RSI Galaxy, the upcoming modular ship from RSI. It would be great if they had a module for media production. It would help me immensely, but probably other Machinima creators as well. And they would have like a green screen behind him or something. But now I have this to work with. So I make a little mask around him so that I only have the blue background behind him. I do an Ultra key to remove the blue. And after that, I simply export this video with an alpha channel. So, you know, videos, they have a red, a green, and a blue channel. But if you're exporting it as a QuickTime clip video, you can also add a fourth channel, which is alpha, and that's transparency. So you have all the three basic colors and transparency in the video, meaning when he gets over to After Effects, he is already, the background behind him is already transparent, so I don't have to do much here. What I have to make sure is that I don't get any like spill around him when I export him. Spill meaning if the settings in the Ultra key is wrong, for example, if transparency is too low, or I can get spill around him like this. And I don't want any of that spill. Or if it's too much transparency, I can accidentally make him transparent. So what I usually do is I place color mats underneath him here. That way I can see if something spills through or if it doesn't. For example, this might look good, looks perfect, but he is transparent. His little button here is transparent. The med gun here is transparent. And it could even be like him being transparent like this. As the jacket is black, it would still look good on the screen like this before I export. So I make sure to add a little color mat underneath him to see that I made the proper settings for the key. And when I do, it should look like this. There's a little transparency on the med gun and a small one on his button. I missed that, but looking in After Effects, it's not noticeable at all. So it's fine. Would it be his whole jacket being transparent though? That would be another story. Anyways, let's close Premiere here. What I have to do with Oliver though is the same as I did with the Hercules clips. I have to add lumetri color to his clips here to make him appear as if he's actually in this space. If I turn it off, you would see something, I thought. Oh, it's the wrong Zark. Here it is, Zark number 1. What I do here as well is that I put a mask on the desk. So he's actually tall, like his feet go down here, but I place a mask for the desk to make it so that however he moves, you have all these idle animations and he's looking at his watch and stuff like that. Whatever he does, it will be behind the mask. And it will look like he's behind the desk still. But if I remove lumetri color, you see he's pretty dark. And in a studio, he wouldn't be dark like this. This is how dark he is in the hangar bay. But I needed to add some exposure to him and increase the light sources to make it look like there are actually some spotlights on him. For some reason, in the studio, they only have spotlights coming in from the right side. But if they add my media module for the Galaxy, we could probably make it look like there are spotlights from all over the place. Anyways, let's see what this looks like now. The story for Invictus is we could probably add something here as well on the camera angle where he is promoting the main story for tonight, a summary of the Invictus event. We could probably go into the back LCD, go back there, go in here and we could add like a little logo or something for Invictus. And I tend to hoard logos from in the game, so I think I probably have some Invictus logo here somewhere. There it is. I put that in B-roll as well. I add it here. Look at that. Much better. That was the perfect size right away. That's weird. Sometimes you're just lucky. I think the colors work as well. There's no need to edit this too much. So let's just add Oliver here as well so that I can hear what he's saying. Oh, that's gonna be hard actually. I'm gonna have to listen like this.
Invictus launch week has ended and we're here to give you the rundown on the event. But before we dive into that, let's spotlight a commonly overlooked vehicle, the PTV.
The Invictus background could actually stay, I think, as Oliver keeps talking about. Could fade out around here somewhere when he mentions the PTV. The PTV is, I don't want to spoil it too much, but the PTV is going to be a fun little story. If you've seen a creator on Reddit called Major Wet Spot, he made some videos where he tried different experiments, and he made a little experiment with the PTV with the PTV some time back, and I reached out to him and asked him basically, can I use your footage? And he was like, yeah, for sure. So it's going to be a little story on the PTV and some things that you can do with that. And Major Wet Spot sound a little bit military, so I thought it was fitting with the Invictus episode that we've traveled out to an old retired Major veteran, a Navy veteran, who is just these days he's like a vehicle enthusiast and he tries different things with his vehicles. Can't let go of his golden days from the military. Right, let's see here. Right here it should fade out. So what I'll probably do is I'll split this composition right here. Is that the good way, actually? Yes. No, it's not. What I should do is split it inside, I think. No, what I should do is do the things I did before. I should just use opacity keyframes here. So this whole composition gets to sit up here. It's the composition with the content. Removing it would just be like the Hub Galactic logo, which is great. So I'll bring it down to 0% opacity.
Considered far from military standards and isn't featured on the Invictus show floor, one passionate ex-military vehicle enthusiast claims it has capabilities beyond any military craft.
Let's move these keyframes a little bit to the right, and maybe not change the keyframes here, but actually change the background contents. That way we could still keep the LCD back here engaged with something else that it's relating to the Major. And let's see here.
On the Invictus show floor, one passionate ex-military vehicle enthusiast claims it has capabilities.
So what would be a good B-roll to put back here? Let's remove those. And instead, let's remove the logo and the clip here. And add another B-roll. Let's see what we have. If we had something from the story about Major Wet Spot, maybe. There's the vehicle enthusiast. Could be... I need to record something. Let's see what we have and save for later. If I have cinematic views that I like, I put them here in my little save for later folder. With some subfolders as well from last year's Invictus launch week. IAE from the Drake, IAE from 2 years ago. This story takes place on Lyria, so I'm looking for like Lyria footage. What is this? That's one of the microtech moons. What do we have here? That's also a microtech moon. That's also something else. I thought I had... There was this one time I went like a whole lap around Stanton and filmed a short cinematic camera angle for every celestial body, but don't know if I kept that because that was way back. Way back. Captures maybe. Here's some really old footage. Here's the first ever Invictus launch week. It's fun to go back to these sometimes. Yeah, here we are. Here are all the different celestial bodies. I think this is Lyria, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check and see if there's something else that looks more like
genuinely emotionally difficult. And so much of the negative...
Not that one. This is Crusader, so it should be... That should be Selin. This is Selin, maybe.
that a woman has loved.
That's Selin. Let's go with this one. B-roll. Let's add it on top. If there's anyone who recognizes this place and feels like this is not actually Lyria, please let me know, and I'll go out and re-record Lyria. But I think it is. Let's bring the footage down a little bit because it looks better up there. And let's add a little fade in to it as well. How long is that? It's gonna be... Is that just one frame? That's basically half a second, right? Oh, it's fine. A little longer, maybe. Yeah, for sure. And this video is also in need of some color grading. You always want to do color grading. Because you see, we're absolutely not utilizing the whole color space in this video. Maybe later, because I saw there was like, it was a storm here, so the storm grays out some of the footage. So here it's where the clouds move away. You get some deeper colors here, like you see the black here, that's the black here. But still, we want to find the part of the video that has the most spread. And here, or here. Because if we're looking at the part with the most spread already before starting out, we make sure that we don't overshoot with the color grading. Let's bring the blacks down there. Whites up there. Shadows down, highlights up, add some contrast. And here you see it got a... When you use contrast and you apply the contrast, sometimes as the colors gets more spread out, it looks like it's more colorized than it should be. So to compensate for that, I need to take down the saturation. And there we go, it's still looking correct, but the dark bits are much deeper and the light bits are much brighter. You can see the difference here. That's the first variation, and here it is after it's color corrected. Going back to the main view, it should change around here. Didn't, right? Oh, because we went too far. Should check it out here. There it is. Great. Now I need to listen to Oliver and make sure that this footage doesn't end before he switches over to the major wet spot story about the PTV. So doing that, I'll need to go back here and listen.
It claims it has capabilities.
Oh, we need to let it load a bit. Well, actually, I won't be entering Element 3D anytime soon with this project, so I'll put cache frames back on. What that does is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with After Effects too much, but when I have the video paused, you can see down here, it generates more frames for me for the preview window. Let's fit this to the screen there. Meaning, while I'm paused, I have some like, oh, the dark here actually hit the black. That's not good. There we go. So while I'm waiting, I have some frame rendering for me. So I have the frames already done when I'm done waiting.
Has capabilities beyond any military craft.
Oh, that was perfect actually. You can hear the cut and probably had some music.
On any military craft.
There's the audible cut in the video, which is perfect because that was exactly when the clip ended. Let's go back to main view. Since the video will be cut here. Oh no. Things are not responding as I want them to. Ah, there we go. Since the video would be cut here and replaced with a report that is like 1 or 2 minutes long, it makes sense that the background, the back screen, the back LCD is something completely different when we get back into the studio again. This is laggy. After Effects is not on my side right now. Does that make OBS lag as well? Like, do I start lagging on the stream, or is that fine? Let me know if that's the case or not. I should probably start editing with the with normals instead of composites. Now I need to find that spot again. There we go. Alright, so let's bring the opacity down from here. Because when Oliver gets back to the studio after this report has been out, I want the background to just say Hubway Galactic.
Some deep diving reporting there from our very own reporting intern, Russell Kingsley.
Alright. So we could probably just have Hubway Galactic logo here for, let's see what the camera angle is. Waiting for frames. There we go. Could probably have this up until he starts talking about another story, and that should be Invictus, that story. Let's listen again. Yeah, After Effects makes everyone black. It's true. I'll save my project just to be safe. Alright, let's listen to the audio from within the studio, and we should know what to put on the screen here. There's no audio.
Russell Gainsley. He really deserves a pay rise, but since interns don't get paid, we'll just say, good work, Russell. Now, let's quickly check in with our reporter on...
There, we should change the background screen here. Let's quickly check in with our reporter from... Let's see what it says.
On site about what's been happening during this year's Invictus launch week.
Alright, so let's actually use the footage from Area 18 that I kept from before. I think the scenery was basically the same for this year. There it is. That's way out here, right? So we're gonna bring that in and put it on B-roll. Let's see, we could use footage like this as well. 'Cause this statue has been, it's been on every Invictus launch week as I can remember. This was some Yankee camera work by me. I think I tried capturing this with my mouse or something. Yeah, this is not usable. It's too bad. Let's see here. Nope. Alright, what about this? Could use a still as well. It doesn't have to be moving too much. It's not very dynamic though. Yep, this one as well. I filmed this from 600i flying over the... It was also from way back. I think the first Invictus launch week was back in 2020, I think. 2050. 21. What's the year actually? 2950. Here we go. Alright, so we could use some of this, I think. Or is the camera moving a little bit too much? Nope. Let's go into one of the old folders from Invictus launch week last year. Let's see if we have some B-roll here that we can use. Oh, this is it. Oops. I brought it in by accident. Wanted to play it. Oh, that was from Drake. Defense Con. That is something else. Drake are not part of Invictus launch week as much as they want to. I could use this footage actually to say let's go over to when you see the Babbage Convention Center there in the background, you could use that. Let's bring that down to B-roll, take it in here. Now it's a matter of finding the right place in the video. Where was the Babbage Convention Center? There we go. Oh, I was too close. Right. I was so close that I got teleported and I didn't even know it because I was in an external camera angle. Could probably use some of this. It's not very smooth though, but let's see here. Should turn off the audio on all of these as well. We could probably use this. Let's put the marker right where it should be. Move the marker back here. And move to the correct position. And add a fade in using opacity keyframes. 0 and 1. Oh no, that's not actually the one that should be using keyframes. It's way up here. 0 and 100. But in here we should, as usual, color grade the video to make it look better. And this one has a little bit of like a green hue over it. It's just the atmosphere around ArcCorp. So we're gonna have to change that a little bit as well. Take the dark bits down, bring the light bits up. Wow. Right. Shadows up, contrast. You can see the red here shooting up. That's because of the different buildings around here. But you can also see the green sitting way above the blue, which is because of the atmosphere. Because there's nothing in this image that should be more green than blue. So what we'll do is change the tint and try to place the green and the blue near each other. And there you have it. It looks cleaner, I think. Thanks, Sort of Rick. And Alejandro Trush as well. Nice. Alejandro, you'll probably catch more streams. I'll be trying to stream more in the future, and because it's really fun to be sharing like what I do, and yeah, there'll be more of this for sure. Let's bring the exposure up, and we can still see all of the colors are sitting basically in the middle. So I'll try it, not too much. Oh, I already had that up so far. Wow. So the contrast is already maxed out, and we can still... If I put contrast at 0, oh, it's sitting so tight here in the middle. Alright, let's bring it apart. Let's bring shadows down, highlights up. Now the greens are acting up again, so let's bring the greens down a little bit. I don't think we're getting it any better than this. Maybe bring the saturation down a little bit, because the reds are like almost through the roof. Well, it looks basically sort of normal, I think. Let's compare it with how it looks without color grading. Yuck. Nice. All right. So now, listening to Oliver, it should, I hope, match up with what he's saying.
Russell. Now, let's quickly check in with our reporter on site about what's been happening during this year's Invictus launch week.
Nice. And looking at the main screen. Oh, right, because here with the camera shift, we're going over to the next report. So with the camera shift here is where we should be. Let's go one frame to the left. Oh, okay. The main screen is actually not visible, sort of, in the shot. So it doesn't make sense to have it. I should have checked that before. But now that we've added a little thing for Invictus Launch Week on the back panel. You should use it, I think. It starts way back here. Let's go back to where the keyframes are changing. Here you can see it changing from the blue to R-Corp. Looking at that particular camera shot, I think, yeah, it's the same. Alright, so let's check our sliders and see. This back one is rotator 3, I think. Right, maybe. Maybe we're gonna have to change that video actually to be on the screen instead. Because I like that it's moving around a little bit back here. If it's not moving, it's sitting in the same position from like 28 seconds in. The main screen is sitting in the main position. And I want it to be shifting around because I put in some work on the backgrounds here, but also I think it makes it a little bit more interesting to watch the video when Oliver is talking for like a full minute at some points. I want there to be things happening because I want different senses to be engaged in the video. If you're just listening to someone talk for 1 minute, like you're doing now, it's not very engaging. It's easy to lose interest if you're not like very engaged in what they're talking about. So if you can just see some things moving or whatever, it's better. That said, I'll change the video over to go on this screen instead. And I think I'll do that right away actually. Let's remove you. Open up screen. Did I just name it screen? It's not very intuitive. Back LCD, Cityscape, floor LED. Desk LCD is this one. Yeah, this is the one. Alright. Bad naming from me. Now I need to change this one to be. Right. So the screen here, let's go back to where Oliver was saying that. This is where he starts talking about R-Corp, I think. So going into the screen here, that should be the same place, I think. Need to make this screen fit on here. There we go. I did film this in PTU, I think, so I want to hide this little test version text here. That's why I'm making it a little bigger than it has to be. Let's see here, what if you make it so that the blue hover screen plays the video of you flying into the event, and then when Oliver finishes introducing the reporter, the whole screen switches to the reporter. Yeah, it would make sense. I don't think I have a video. Did you mean from like the subway? Flying into the event on the not subway, what's it called? The tram? That would make sense. Blue hover screen. You're not black, no. Or a real journalist. Yeah, you're fooled. Yeah, the reason for Oliver being black is because this face was the only one that didn't look like He was a coal miner way back in like 3839. When did I don't know when I started, but you only had like 5 faces to choose from, and you had like 1 Asian, 2 blacks, and 3 whites, I think. And the Asian guy, he looked like he was very young, and all the 3 white ones look rather sickly, or like they've been hard at work in a coal mine or in an asteroid belt for quite some time. So I wanted the news reporter to look professional and healthy. So this is what he turned out to be. But then they've changed the faces a lot over the years. I think there's been like 2 updates when they've changed all the faces, and so he doesn't really look like what he did from the beginning. He's a little bit different, but I didn't want to make him so different as to like having him change skin color. It would be hard for me to explain how he changed like that. I was people are usually surprised by me not being black. I was in a bar citizen event in the Netherlands last year, and I was supposed to meet this guy up on the train station when I arrived, and we were looking around for each other. I didn't know what he looked like, but he was looking for me, and I said like, I'm tall, I got a beard, and but he didn't find me initially because he was looking for a black guy. Obviously, I forgot to mention that. I should just include like a little photo or something if I'm meeting up people. Right, so this should be on the screen now. Usually it's not. Oh, it is right away as well. That's cool. I'll save your idea, Gamers Cafe, to see if I can also change the big screen to having Oliver flying in. But now with the big screen sitting all the way on the side, I don't know if it's going to be possible. Maybe I could move the footage a little bit to the right here, as the footage out here on the edge won't be visible from this camera angle. I could do that, and oh, you basically suggested the same thing I'm doing. Oh, okay. Okay. But utilizing this little side thing of the display here is actually a good idea. I should look into that. Because this is also like static. It's not moving around very much. I could have the background, like the blue background, like flicker a little bit with lighting, but having it be related to the story or to what Oliver's talking about is definitely the best way to go about this. Alright, so I think we have some frames generated here. And I also think After Effects is starting to I can't control anything. After Effects is not responding. I should save this project and maybe restart After Effects. Oh, now we only got like a little spinning thing. Let's see here if After Effects bounces back. Oh, we're back. Right, save. I think we have some frames generated here. Yep. So the screen shifts here. That's the back LCD, alright. If I go into the main camera angle and I put my marker way back in the beginning, and then I enter the screen, right, so it's beginning here, which means I should put my audio from Zark Move. I should put it here and have it start at that exact mark. So then I can listen to the audio while I'm editing what the screen is gonna look like. So this is what it's gonna be. Craft.
Some deep diving reporting there from our very own reporting intern, Russell Gangsley. He really deserves a pay rise, but since interns don't get paid, we'll just say, good work, Russell. Now, let's quickly check in with our report.
There's change there. let's have it fade in as well. Opacity keyframe 0, another one a couple seconds after. Not a couple seconds, just 1 second maybe. Should fade in like that. Let's head over to the same place in the main camera angle. On the smaller screen, you get to see the whole video. I like that idea better. Yeah, same here. As for the stuttering, it only does it for a few seconds, then comes back. Okay. I think upgrading the computer is something that I should prioritize after the summer break. I think I've had the same like 2 years now, and it's good, but when editing and working in 3D and wanting to stream and have After Effects open at the same time using a heavy 3D plugin like this, it's taxing for the computer, to say the least. Now I need from the IE background, I'm going to remove that. We switched it over to the screen. And now, if it generates a new frame, we should see this background here being blue. I hope. No? Doesn't change. This is so slow now. Alright, so placing the marker way out here. Oh, we should remove those as well, because the back screen shouldn't be fading in. Now it should be faded out. Oh, it's really slow now. I think this will be it for the stream, at least in like 5 or 10 minutes. Let's finish this detail and then I'll be taking a break for today. Come on, marker. You can do it. Right. Should be blue here, I hope. What I can do, which usually works, try that now actually, now that After Effects is acting up a little too much, is going to edit, purge all memory. Or maybe I just ruined everything now. I did save it right before purging the memory. But After Effects has like a little folder in which it's keeping all the cached previews and settings, and it just becomes a little too much for After Effects sometimes. Let's see if it manages to purge this, or if it breaks, and we're done for today. To be honest, After Effects will take as much as you give it. I've given After Effects like 100 gigabytes. It might be better investing in a stream machine that is basic, and that way you can... Oh, okay, I can... Sorry, it's a little hard to read because the user interface on tablets for YouTube is not great. But basically you're saying I could have like a little basic machine that all it can do is like run OBS, and I can run the output from my screen into that computer. It's definitely worth looking into. Alright, we're back. I think memory's purged, and we're moving so smooth again. That's nice. Let's remove that. Go back to the main view and see the screen should be faded in. that shouldn't be visible because that's still faded out, so we should only have the background. And let's see. Has to generate the frame. Ah, looks good. Great. It's blue on the background. Here it is. We have the screen. I'm gonna let this sit for a while because I want to see in this particular view with the screens in the right places and the fadings and the audio and everything. I want to see that it actually looks as it should be. So using the cached frames while idle, I'm gonna let the marker sit here for a while. And yeah, right. So I changed OBS into another machine. That should be something. Yeah, I'll look into that. Thanks for the tip. So I'll just let the marker sit here for a few seconds while it generates the frames to the left and to the right of it. So I usually place the marker in the middle of what I want to see. We have a full second rendered. That's great. Right, and after this has been rendered and I can see this 1 second and listen to the audio and see that it's correct, I'm gonna close it for today. And but I've really been enjoying streaming. I tried streaming 1 or 2 weeks back as well, and I thought back then I was a little bit more nervous, but now it's been a little bit more relaxed, and I think that's good. And I'm enjoying it. I think it's really fun. So I will probably try this again within a week or so, hopefully. I'm not gonna have it on like a schedule or something, but as soon as I'm able to, I'll just jump on. Let's see how much we have here.
We're on site.
A reporter on site, which is exactly what Oliver should be saying right
We're
here.
on site about what?
And it's coming in here with our corp. That's great. So I have the webcam, OBS, and Alike on the stream machine, and then After Effects on the other. Oh, okay, so the webcam as well on the other one. That's a good idea. Need OBS on both. Okay, I can disable preview on the After Effects machine. Alright. Nice. I'll check that out. There's probably some guides I should be reading when setting that up. But this was great. Thanks for hanging out, guys, and I'll see you next time, and or whenever this video releases. It should be a few days more, at least with this After Effects and how it's acting out. Right, take care now. I don't even know how to end streams. See you. Here we go. Have a good one. Bye bye. Stream is not starting soon. There we go.